My next guest is an American who has lived in Belgium for 8 years. He is not a diplomat. He's not with the government. Believe it or not, this gentleman runs the world's only potato museum located in Belgium, and he started the museum in 1975 as a tribute to his favorite vegetable. Here now, the curator of the museum, Mr. Tom Hughes. Hi, Tom. How are you? Have a seat, if you will. You seem like a reasonable sort, just generally. This, to me, is a little... I guess people ask you, of course, and I will now also, why a museum for potatoes?
The potato is the world's #1 vegetable, and it deserves to be honored in a museum, and I've done it.
But, you know, what about celery, carrots?
Well, per acre, if you plant potatoes, rice, wheat, whatever, per acre, potatoes give more food value and nutrition than anything else. And it feeds people, it makes people happy, and it makes civilizations possible.
Let's cover #2. How does it make people happy?
Well, there are all sorts of toys at the museum that we play with and we let visitors play with. One of the top toys that in England over the years was a little toy pistol. We have one right here that you can shoot potatoes with. Or I have
You can
one in my
shoot
pocket.
potatoes.
Right? And here it is. It's called a Spud Gun or a potato pistol. And I'm just going to, okay, there we go.
Good heavens.
And so...
Let me load one of those up and let me try it.
Okay, it's a gouging effort. And,
A gouging
there you
effort.
go.
And it's...
You got to pump it hard. Okay. There you go.
And I guess this is the kind of thing we could see in the museum if we
Yes?
came up with the airfare to fly all the way over.
Well, no, I've brought some of the museum with me, and I'm traveling around with it, and I hope that many Americans will be able to see the exhibit in their area.
Yeah, yeah. Now, again, I'm going to try once more. At what point in your life did you decide you needed to devote your remaining years to the potato?
I think it came when I first saw my first potato plant, and I realized how beautiful the flower is.
Now you're just being silly there, aren't you?
Yes. I was impressed with the beauty of the flower and seeing a plant that I had never seen before but had eaten its product.
Mm-hmm.
I also, when I moved to Belgium, I'm a school teacher and I was teaching there, I talked to people. All my neighbors were growing potatoes like we grow flowers, we grow tomatoes.
Mm-hmm.
They were growing potatoes. And I said, what is this? And they said, well, during the war, we've had to live off potatoes.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, you can live off potatoes, they told me, and I didn't know that. So I asked my students to research this subject. Another person suggested that Ireland, whose history has forever been changed by potatoes, should have a museum about potatoes. And I thought a museum about potatoes, perhaps this is what I should do,
mm-hmm.
and I did it.
Has this made you a wealthy man?
No, it has not, but it's certainly given me an interesting life, because let me tell you, if you have a potato museum and you go to Russia, as I have, or to Poland, you get a lot of vodka toasts, because the potatoes are very important. What are the Polish people living on right now during the crisis? You know, they're standing in line waiting for a lot of other things. What is supporting them? Potatoes. You could live off potatoes. People have.
Yeah, I know. I think we can, sure. Now we have some slides that.
Right.
What are we going to see here,
Okay, we
Tom?
have some things from the museum. This is the inventor of the potato chip. On the left, Chief. He's a great man in American history because the potato chip is more American than apple pie, and potato chips are just portable potatoes.
Now who? Portable potatoes.
Right.
Carry them in your wallet. Now who were those? Who were they actually?
He was the man who was in Saratoga Springs, New York, and he invented the potato. It was an accident. It was dropped in, a piece of the peel was dropped
mm-hmm.
into the fat one day,
mm-hmm.
and it was served up to a wealthy customer, supposedly Cornelius Vanderbilt, who liked them.
Mm-hmm.
And
funny, they didn't look like they'd be eating potatoes, you know. Who's next here?
Well, we're going to have, I think, you can. Oh yes, this is a potato dance. You said you're going to have a lot of fun with potatoes.
Yeah,
and, here
they're
are
having the time of their lives, aren't they? Nothing I like better than having a potato rolled across my face.
Right. Well, some people have do the mashed potato, which was a big twist number in the 50s. Okay.
Yeah.
But the potato has everything in it but fat. Did you know that it
No, I didn't
is
know
full
that.
of vitamin C, a high source of potassium, B9, but very little calories, and quality potatoes go into everything, and we can
All right, we
live off
have
them.
another photo. Is this more of these? That was...
Yes, well
Oh,
now,
yeah.
the potato is even a source of energy. Properly rigged up, you can light a light bulb with the electricity, the power from potatoes, and this is and potatoes are even used to make ethanol fuel now.
Well, the ethanol fuel I understand, but how...
Yes.
I don't understand the electricity coming from a potato to power...
Well, you're going to have to come to the museum, and we will let you fiddle with the wires in the light bulb just like we let the other visitors, and you will produce some electrical
Actually,
current.
electricity. All right, we have a brief amount of time to cover some of these
Okay.
other
All right,
items
here's
here,
potato
Tom.
jewelry. This is a potato chip bracelet. Here's a
that's-
potato necklace.
Oh, the potato necklace
Yeah.
is nice. Yeah.
This is a bowl.
Too bad you can't get it any bigger. That it's a...
This is a bowl made from potatoes. The bowl's not is made from potatoes, but the potato chips are not. They're made from wood.
These are made from wood.
And we're
yeah.
gonna. And can I show this? Here's Marilyn Monroe wearing a potato sack, and this made her career. This before that she was an unknown actress, but the potatoes did it for her.
That put her
Bring
over
that
the
sack.
top.
That's
Okay. Fascinating. The Potato Museum located in Belgium.
That's right.
Tom Hughes. Thank you, Tom, for being here. We'll be right back with more of the show, folks. Thank you, Tom. Thank you so much. Welcome back to the show. We've pretty much restored order. Later on in this extravaganza, two gentlemen who have written jokes for presidents, Vic Gold and Bob Orban. That's not all they do, but it'll be a fascinating area of discussion. Also a man who, among other things, suggests we ought to be eating insects. That's what this guy thinks. Not a guy. Well, he is a guy, but he's a professor. So he's a real guy. He's from Cornell. This gentleman's name is Professor Edgar Raffensperger, and he'll be joining us a little bit later. Sonny gets 2 points for poise. Now, my first guest is going to take us into another dimension, since she is the co-founder of the 28-year-old Unarius Educational Foundation. She is a cosmic visionary, has lived on Mars, speaks regularly with the Space Brothers, Tommy and Dickie, and is responsible for coordinating their upcoming space landing. Would you please welcome, she's already here, Uriel Norman. Is that correct? Thank you very much for being. I know we had you scheduled one other time,
That's
and
right.
we ran out of time.
That's
but
right.
it's very nice of you to come back. Now, let's just get right into this, shall we? Your home planet is Aries.
Aries, yes. That's a very spiritual world. I mean, a very high-frequency world. Is the people that live there are not atomic structured like the people on Earth world. That's my original planet. But I have lived and worked on many, many, many worlds. People who have worlds who have had conditions just like this Earth world does now, the near-war conditions and all. I have helped many, many different worlds out of their situation.
Mm-hmm.
And I have been in contact with my space brothers for 28 years, ever since this mission was started.
Yeah.
And I came to Earth with this purpose, for this very purpose, to help bring the spacecraft to Earth. We'll have a space armada, a landing of 32 craft. And this is no joke. This is fact. This is the truth, and so help me God.
Okay.
This mission has been going on for many thousands of years.
Let me interrupt here a second. We'll clear up a couple of these points. You lived on Aries for a while, then you moved to Mars. Now, is there anything you can tell us about living on Mars?
Yes, the people on Mars live underground. It is very thickly populated, but they have plenty of room to grow their substance and all. I made a film. I have We make films, our organization, as well as write books. And I have a film on the underground cities of Mars, and the people are rather short in structure there.
Well, you'd have to be. I
Yeah,
guess just
and well,
bumping your head all the time. Yeah.
the ceilings aren't that low.
Oh.
And if the people who went to Mars to investigate, if they had stuck around a while and did a little investigating, they could have received messages, especially mental messages.
Okay. Now let's this mission you referred to, the Space Armada.
Yes.
What exactly going to happen when they land here?
There will be 33 spacecraft. They have been made to interlock, interjoin. They have been created so they will interlock and join, and that will form a gigantic structure. It will be a college where people can come from all over the world. I have over 500,000 students throughout the world that have been studying this science. It's a very definite, factual science dealing with self-healing. We teach people how to heal themselves through looking into their past lifetimes.
Yeah. So they're going to build a college when they
So
get here.
that they will.
Yeah.
These space fleet are the college, will
They will
be the college, yes. And I'm sorry that some people feel, or that maybe you, Dave, feel that this is a joke. You will find that it's a very helpful thing to the earth world. And if something isn't done to help the earthman, he will destroy himself.
Well, that's certainly true. But now you must. Now I'm not laughing. We have just a couple of people in the audience who. But now let me just make a point here. This can't come as a surprise to you that folks find this amusing.
I never heard anybody find it amusing before. I've heard people that didn't agree.
Didn't agree.
But I've never heard anybody laugh, but I guess you have laugh cards up for them.
No, we don't. No, we don't. We don't.
I don't see how anybody can think it's a laughing matter when we have ways to save your world from destroying itself.
I have to go. Look, I'm with Ruth on this, folks. No, we don't. We don't have laugh cards. I can assure you of that. Or the first bit would have gone much better. We're going to pause here. We're going to take a look at some film that you have, videotape?
Yes, a little clip
Okay.
that I took in my center.
Okay, and we'll be right back with Ruth Norman. Thank you. We're chatting with Ruth Norman, who is a cosmic visionary, and she has told us that people are coming, a space armada is coming to build a college. It'll be in the Big Ten, and we're talking more about that now. How is it, Ruth, that you know this and I don't know this? Where did this information come to you?
Well, I have prepared for many thousands of years my consciousness, my mind. I can attune and hear mentally or psychically beings on the other worlds.
You hear them? You hear them now? Can you hear them now? if you
No,
want to?
I'm not in tune with them now. I'm in tune with you.
I see.
When I open my consciousness, I extend my antenna, and it functions exactly the same as a radio. When people understand what the mind is and the energy body, man functions the same as a radio or television.
What do you know of the universe? I mean, we know what New York City is. We know what the United States is. We know what this globe is. But what about, I mean, does it ever come to an end? Is it finite? Is it infinite?
No. The universe is regenerative, just as all things are. I tell a great deal about that in this book called History of the Universe, and You, a Star Traveler. That is but one of my 80 volumes that these space beings have transmitted through my consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't write the books. I simply received them from the brothers on the other planets and then recorded it, and the people took it from there and published it. And this book just came out this week.
Mm-hmm. So, so generally the universe is regenerating all the time.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. And life should be progressive. When man begins to realize that he doesn't die when he dies, that only his physical body dies, that his true self goes on to another world, then he will become more progressive, and he can make use of all of these other lives that he has lived. And I have worked on this situation and this awareness and realization for many, many thousands of years.
We have a short clip now this is prepared by your foundation, and it shows a recent unveiling ceremony for this Space Center. This is where the landing, when the Armada comes, this is where they'll be landing.
This is a mock-up. This is a mock-up that we made for one of my films.
Okay.
And this will be built in San Diego.
Okay.
But it's a small mock-up. But
right,
it'll be a replica.
Okay. All right. This is will be built in San Diego.
And now comes that moment that we have so long anticipated. The initiating of Star Center number 1. For many thousands of years, this great plan has been made in action and being prepared. And now the 33 planets have built and created and put together these 33 star ships. And they are now coming to Earth, and they will be attached as one unit, and this will be Star Center number 1. That will be built in San Diego, California. So now, will you pass the scissors to me, please? And we will cut the ribbon for Star Center number 1.
Again, tell me what you just leaned over and said while we were watching the videotape. You said,
I said, I'd like to know what the hell they're laughing at.
Yeah. But let me just, it seems...
I would, sincerely.
But
I
now,
would. Only a fool laughs at something he doesn't understand.
Well, that could very well be, but you have to appreciate the fact that you seem like a reasonably intelligent woman, but yet you say things that you've been communicating with other beings in this universe for thousands and thousands of years, and you know that strikes people as being a little hinky.
There's plenty of people that realize it. Did you happen to hear the news last night on 7, I guess it was? They announced that the new world teacher would show up this spring and would have a science, a teaching, to teach the world that would save the world from destruction. The man that announced this is a very advanced psychic. Mm-hmm. His name is Benjamin Cream. Mm-hmm. He's been going all around the world and announcing this, and it was on the New York News last night.
Mm-hmm. But what do you say to skeptics? Because this can't be...
I don't try to twist anybody's arm. Everybody has a right to believe whatever they choose. But for those who are open-minded and willing to progress and learn something and to develop their own psychic awareness, we have the teachings. For those who don't believe, go their way. I mean, I can't rebut it. I won't waste my time.
Yeah, yeah.
But there are plenty who do. I have 500,000 students throughout the world that study this science diligently.
Now you raise a lot of money that way too, don't you? You get contributions.
No, I don't raise a lot of money because I print and publish and distribute my own books, and it's much more costly than having somebody else do it.
Okay, let me interrupt here again, Ruth. We'll be right back. Ruth and I will return right after this. Thank you. Welcome back to the shows. Now, San Diego is where we saw the Space Center is being built. Why San Diego?
I was prompted to buy property there, about 67 acres where they will land.
You have 67 acres of land in San Diego?
Well, it's up in the hills. It's
Wow.
about 20 miles east of San Diego, but that's where the craft will land. It's cleared off a hilly place, and I was prompted, inspired to purchase this property 5 years ago for this.
That's expensive, though, isn't it? That kind of land, 60, 70 acres, 67
Well, it
acres.
isn't the cheapest, but I have many appreciative students. Students, after they have healings, they have healings and help themselves. This program is mainly.
I'm sorry. Now let's go to the healings, because I think maybe I missed that. What these people are able to heal themselves, heal
That's
others.
right. Through the understanding of their past life living, they lived many, many other lifetimes. Everyone has.
Everyone has.
And when people realize what happened to them in past lifetimes, such as wars and many, many things, then they have a healing by this recognition. The psychologists and psychiatrists today practice this from this life alone, but they don't take them back to.
Now, have I been had other lives and need
You
healing?
have lived on many, many lives, and nobody on earth that hasn't lived thousands of lifetimes.
So it's just the same guys keep coming through.
That's right. To try to learn something more.
You try and well, that makes sense. You try and refine as you go. Surely, yeah. Well,
and
I buy that.
that's how these people that come in as genius, little 6- and 7-year-old kids, can create music or write literature or do these many things, is because they remember their former lifetimes. I mean, many, many people are aware of this, and there's countless people who have seen spacecraft too. This is nothing new that they have been preparing for a great length of time for this arrival, because the Earth needs them so badly. Now, one of the main things that they will bring will be a power tower.
A power tower.
Energy that will supply the Earth world with all the energy that it needs.
Well, that'll be a load off our minds, get all that energy. But Con Ed will be in trouble, but
it'll
yeah.
certainly make your gasoline
Go a
not
long
necessary.
way. Sure. It was an interesting meeting you, Ruth. Thank you very much for being here. We have to go away. This woman is Ruth Norman. We'll be back with all kinds of things. Thank you. Welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. I'm all right. Smokey Robinson is here tonight, also Roy Firestone, and the woman who is the curator of the Nut Museum. But before we begin all of that stuff, tonight we would like to welcome another new television station to the late night family. This is KJAC-TV, Port Arthur, Texas. And as you know, we usually put together a little profile of a new affiliate city. Unfortunately, our staff was up late last night celebrating the new Buffalo affiliate, and this is all they could come up with for Port Arthur. I hope you all understand. Welcome aboard to KJAC in Port Arthur. Okay, that's... You ever been to Port Arthur, Paul? Do you know where that is?
Port Arthur, Texas.
Yeah, Port Arthur, Texas.
Not Port Arthur, Ontario.
No, Port
That's
Arthur.
near where I'm from.
Never been there. Never
It's
been.
in Texas, Port Arthur,
right.
yeah.
My first guest tonight is the curator and also the creator of the only museum in the world devoted exclusively to nuts. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the nut lady herself, Elizabeth Tashjian. Thank you for being here. Tell us, Elizabeth, where... you all right?
Yes.
Okay. Tell us where the museum is.
It's in Old Lyme, Connecticut.
Old Lyme, Connecticut.
Yes.
And why do you have a museum there for nuts?
Well, I feel that nuts have received shabby treatment. So I'm out to give nuts their due.
Uh-huh.
I'm establishing the entity of the nut through art, music, history, and law.
Now how have they been treated shabbily?
Well, now, they're close to human touch, to everyday living, and yet no one really thinks they're beautiful, have never seen the value of nuts.
Uh-huh.
They're beautiful.
Yeah. Okay, we have some. Where do you want to start here? We have all kinds of stuff here. Let's just.
Let's see. I'll give a sampling of what you usually get when I'm giving a tour.
Oh, this would be like a tour to the museum.
And I might say I'm wearing my grandmother's robe to help establish the historical fact that most of the popular nuts came from Asia Minor.
Oh, I see.
I weave culture and lore around my nuts. because I think they're alive. They're not cold fossils. Now, this is the way the Brazil nuts grow. They are seeds of a fruit.
Mm-hmm. This would be a Brazil nut here.
That's the pod, and 8 to 24
I
are
see.
potted in there before the
yeah.
squirrels raided it. We're down to 3.
Mm-hmm.
There were 8 there before it.
Brazil nuts. Now, these are hard to open, aren't they?
Well, that is opened artificially. Now, this is another
No, but I
opening.
mean the things inside there. These guys in there, aren't those?
They're
hard to
real.
open?
Yes, they're
Yeah,
Brazil nuts.
And I know that. And aren't they also hard to open?
Very hard
Yeah.
to open.
I've heard.
Now, this is a cashew.
You didn't come up in one of the elevators, did you?
No.
Okay.
This is a cashew, and you notice that it is at the bottom of the cashew pear or the cashew apple. Both terms are acceptable.
Mm-hmm. Nope.
And this is the actual skin. And the fruit is edible just as much as the nut is.
Mm-hmm.
It tastes very much like mangoes.
Now, but they don't grow like this.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, they do?
Yes. Yes, well, I don't say that this is the actual fruit, but it gives you an idea of how they grow.
Uh-huh.
And between the two skins of the cashew is a juice they make plastic and synthetic rubber from. It's very valuable commercially.
I didn't realize that.
Yes.
Okay.
And this is the beetle knot.
The beetle nut?
Yes, there are 40 different ways you can swing your jaw on this nut. Sometimes with coconut and sometimes with tobacco.
And you said there's 40 different ways you can
Yes.
swing your...
Really? Yes, that you can swing your jaw
Now, what
on
is-
this nut.
Now,
And you can get a high. It's the poor man's opium. If you scrape this on the beetle pepper plant leaf that's moistened in lime, but not if you chew the beetle nut alone.
Let me see that. Now, let me ask you about that expression, swing your jaw.
Well,
What-
yes, I'm really composing a song. Pop a nut in your mouth. Swing your jaw left and right. Well, in other words, you can find that nuts bring fun.
Nuts bring fun?
Yes.
Nuts, yeah, okay.
Now, these are some nutcrackers. The museum pays homage not only to the nut, but to its arch enemy, the nutcracker.
Yeah.
Yes, traditionally they're enemies, but at the nutcracker they're companion pieces. In fact, I feel...
Let me crack some. Do you mind?
Yes.
Can I
In
use
fact,
this?
when you do, you'll find there's a party going on.
I'll find a party
Yes, you
going
can never
on.
feel lonely with nuts around.
Well, let me try. Can I crack one of these things? The hard ones to crack?
cracking of nuts spells party.
Can I try to crack one of these?
Well,
hard
don't
ones?
tackle that one.
No.
No, let's take a walnut.
But you don't,
and-
okay. Well, walnuts are
Yes.
easy to crack. I was
Yes.
going to demonstrate
well, no,
something difficult
no, I
to
don't
crack.
like to have that cracked anymore. It's cracked enough.
No. I'm talking about the ones inside there.
Oh, well, no, we'll just leave that
Or
alone.
filberts.
So I can show it to visitors how they grow.
Okay. All right. So now, well, this will be nothing. Anybody can crack one of these.
Well, let's just hear the sound effect, and we'll be in a party. Well, go ahead.
Okay. This will be.
All right, now, it'll let out a festive note. And you can never feel lonely. Oh, do it with
okay,
vigor.
okay. All right,
you
I
know.
will if you stop talking, for heaven's sake. Okay, now we're going to hear the
Well,
festive.
yes.
Okay, here we go.
Well, go on. Ah.
Thank you. Here we go. The festive sound of nuts being cracked.
Yes,
Yeah.
nuts make tea, nuts play.
Very nice. Yeah.
Yes, all right.
Okay, what else? Now, let's move
Now,
along. We don't want to
this
run out of
is-
time here. We have.
Yes, now, this is a nutcracker that came from Poland.
Uh-huh.
And as I said before, in the Nut Museum, nuts and nutcrackers live side by side in quiet contentment.
Yeah.
Happy coexistence. No
That's
enemies.
a good idea. Okay.
Metaphor.
Now, what is this? What do we have here?
Oh, easy.
Oh, I'm sorry.
This is a sausage nut.
Uh-huh.
And that came
This is
from
actually a
Poland.
nut?
Yes. Well, you know, a nut is a dry, single-seeded fruit.
Mhm.
But
No, I
my
didn't.
definition of a nut is fresh tokens of primeval existence.
Fresh tokens of primeval existence.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
my definition for a nut.
In a candy-coated shell. They're,
Yes.
All right. Now,
Yeah.
do you have some other things under there?
Yes,
that
this is a sculpture.
a sculpture. All right.
Yes, you know, I'm an artist that has seen the beauty of nuts a very long time. And this is my contribution to woman's liberation. Nuts nourish man. I'm shattering the stereotype concept of woman as being a mere sex symbol. And you're supposed to see this through the lens of whimsy.
Yeah,
I'm always thinking how I can channel nuts to solve some of humanity's nutty problems.
Now,
I didn't say naughty.
no, I
naughty.
said nutty. Now, I tell you what, let's take a look at what you have under the shroud there,
Yes,
the
why
sheet.
have they hid it so? I mean, what mystery. The Nut Museum has a collection of nut masks, whimsical suggestions of some aspect of the edible delight.
Yes.
And I use this as a teaching tactic, especially for children.
Uh-huh.
Now, this is called almond eyeball. And it's lined in sheet music.
You scared me silly when you put that on there.
I thought it would bring you delight. And here it is. It's lined in sheet music.
lined in sheet music, okay.
Because nuts bring a note of happiness
Nuts
and
do
fun.
bring a note of happiness and fun, as we're learning here tonight. Now, Elizabeth, we have one more thing there, and then I understand you have you have two more things.
Oh, this is a purely philosophical piece, a nut mask. It's called the unknown nut, a mask on the unknown nut. And it honors the nut that is not known but exists. All right, it's purely philosophical.
It is, yeah, I was going to say that's more philosophical than
No.
otherwise. Now,
Well, the museum
what
is
is
fast becoming a philosophical piece. Now, while the Nut Museum considers nuts as works of art, it does have a collection of nuts,
this
and
is-
some are exotic.
What exactly is this?
This is called a double coconut, and it's a 1 year older.
Mm-hmm.
This happens to be a 35-pound one. I need assistance on this, really.
Oh, you need help lifting your
Yes.
nuts?
Now,
I'll just be in the next room if you need me.
Perhaps you can hold it.
Maybe I can, Elizabeth.
Yes.
Oh,
I
this
think
is
you
a
can do better.
35-pound, yeah.
Yes, this took 10 years to grow, and is a 35-year-old specimen of the world's largest kind of nut. This is a real nut, and I'm challenging Dawn's theory on this nut. It grows on palm trees that shoot up 100 feet tall.
Could you eat that if you wanted to?
No, it's not edible like the familiar coconut.
Yeah, well, what is it good for then?
Well, it's serving, well, it has a white jelly substance when the nut is freshly
Yeah.
picked, and it's used for medicinal purposes.
They're giving me all kinds of trouble here about your
Oh.
song. Now, we want to get your song in, Elizabeth. Now, are you prepared to sing? Let me just...
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
I'll just hold this, or put this over here. Now, you go ahead. What do you need by the way of an introduction for this song?
Well, some people it's called Nuts Are Beautiful, and some people call it the Nut Anthem.
Uh-huh. And what do you call it?
Well, both terms are acceptable.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Then we're going to hear a little of that now,
Yes,
right?
we'll
Okay.
hear-
Here we are.
Right.
Elizabeth Tashjian, ladies and gentlemen, and choose your pick there.
Nuts are beautiful.
Nuts are beautiful.
Oh, nobody ever thinks about nuts. Nuts can be so beautiful if looked around. Take some home and handle them properly, artistically, and feel a new taste being born.
Very nice. Thank you very much, Elizabeth. Enjoyed talking with you. Very nice. Thank you for bringing these in. We'll be right back with Smokey Robinson, ladies and gentlemen. 9 years ago, my first guest began writing a book entitled How Many People Do You Meet in a Lifetime? Here is the book right here. In this book, this gentleman has been writing down the name of every person he has ever met. We asked him to come to New York from his home in Savannah, Missouri, and we're delighted to have him with us tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the keeper of this publication, Mr. Lowell Davis.
Hello. How are you?
It's a pleasure to meet you, sir.
Thank you.
I called this a publication, but I'm guessing it probably hasn't been published yet, has it?
No.
Do you have any intentions of
No.
publishing it?
No,
This is just for your personal use only.
no, there's not enough, I don't be enough interest that way.
Yeah. When did you first start writing down the names of people you met?
Oh, about 8 or 9 years ago.
Uh-huh.
That's when my memory began to get kind of bad, and I hate the idea of losing out on these names, and forgetting these people, so I just write them down.
Yeah.
Wrote them down on a lot of scrap paper, old wallpaper, shoebox lids, or anything I could find. Whenever I got a kind of a collection of them together, I think, well, I just well get me a new sleeve binder and make a good job of it. So that's what I did.
And these go all the way back to the point where you first started remembering names, don't they?
Yes.
Yeah. How old were you when you got
About
your...
3. Of course, that was my immediate family. The first family.
Yeah. Now, do you update the book? I mean, like the people that you're meeting on your trip to New York City, will they all also appear in the book?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
Now,
I
have you...
probably will as long as I live.
Yeah. Now, have you any names of famous people in the book?
Yes.
Who would those be?
Did you call that a famous person?
Yes, that certainly is. Now, this one right there?
Jesus Christ, November 20th, 1917.
That's right. All right. Now, I'm guessing this was a very important day in your life, obviously.
It certainly
Yeah.
is.
Okay. I'll certainly accept that. Now, do you? How many names are in here?
3,546.
3,546.
That's right.
Does that surprise you that, how old are you, by the way?
83.
83. Does it
Yes,
surprise you that a man who has lived to be 83 years has met that many people? Does that seem like a lot of folks?
I was
Or like?
surprised when I got down 2,000.
Yeah.
I really was. But as you work along, it kind of, I don't know, you get better at it or something.
You
It's
get
kind
better
of
at meeting
slight
people?
to it.
Yeah.
Yes, you see, if you remember a name, well, you remember the image. But sometimes if you forget the name, you'll have an image. You can see them right there plain, but
Sure.
you can't think of the name.
Yeah.
But if you have the names down, you can remember them all.
Yeah.
I remember every one of them.
Now, are there particular qualifications to get the name in the book, or just anybody you meet?
Oh, no, my acquaintances.
Mm-hmm.
My acquaintances.
Say if you met somebody at your hotel tonight, would that person show up in there?
Well, you have to be with the person a little while to really say you're acquainted. There's a kind of a fine line in there.
Yeah.
And sometimes I don't really know myself just exactly how to do it, but I like to put them down so I know something about them so that I can remember them later on, don't you see?
Do you spend time looking back through this in your free
yes, I
time? and so
do.
forth? All right, Lowell, I'll tell you what, we'll do that ourselves. You have some interesting notations here by the names of some of these folks, and we'll come back and talk about the folks that you've met in your lifetime. We'll be back with Lowell Davis. Gentleman is Lowell Davis. Lowell, how big a town is Savannah, Georgia, or Savannah, Missouri? I'm sorry, 4,000. Have you been to New York City before?
No.
And what is your impression of the city coming from Missouri?
Real nice.
Nice?
I love it.
People are being friendly to you?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Very much. Everyone.
Well, that's nice. Now, when we found out you were going to be on the show, you mentioned that a lot of times people will ask you the question, what do you feel is the most important advancement that you have seen in your life? And what is your reply to that question?
Well, I don't know just what it would be. I think maybe it'd be, let's see, I can't think now just what would be.
All right, we can come back
The
to it if you
first
don't.
one I ever remember was a motion picture.
The motion picture, the
Yes.
advent of movies?
I
Yeah.
was very young.
Yeah.
It was in a park, an outdoor park, and had Uncle Tom's Cabin and the Sinking of the Main.
Those were the two films playing there?
Yes,
Yeah. How old were you then?
very small.
Yeah.
I think maybe 7 or 8.
Yeah. Let's go to some of these names in your book. You have on the first page, this is obvious, your parents,
Yes.
John and
Right.
Ida. Yeah, those would be the first people that you met.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you average about 54, 55 names per page,
Yes, most
two
of it.
sides of the page, so that's 110 per page. Here we have Charlie Hall. And you have written down next to Charlie, first day's work earned 25 cents.
That's right.
He gave you your first job.
It's an old hay bale that was powered with a mule going around in a circle. I drove that mule all day for 25 cents.
Boy, but what'd you do with the money?
I don't know. I should have framed it, but I didn't.
Should have, yeah. Molly Dutton, buried in ice-packed coffin.
Yes. I remember. That's,
She was dead.
oh, yes,
Yeah.
very much so.
Why was she packed in ice?
Well, there's some people that didn't go for embalming. Of course, it's old habits, happened ever since way back in Egypt, 2,000 years ago. They used to carry spices, across Asia for that purpose. And this year, I guess these people just didn't want to do that, so they used the ice pack coffin. Only one I ever saw.
Yeah. Elizabeth Davis Odell eloped on one horse to Memphis, Tennessee to be married.
That was my father's sister.
Your father's sister, okay. And we have some
Turned
others.
out real nice.
It did?
Yes, the family increased to more than 200 people.
Let's see. Winnie McDonald fathered 15 children.
That's right. Lives at Rosendale, Missouri.
She's still alive, Winnie?
I think so.
Yeah. And these are just people that you've come into contact through in your everyday life? Dick Edwards was a roustabout.
Yes, a roustabout was what we would call a stevedore now. Loads of ships. But sometimes we refer to people that does odd jobs as a roustabout.
Dr. D.W. Criswell invented the tire chain hook.
That's right.
What is a tire chain hook?
Whenever they fasten the chains together, they have a hook that come around and a little loop that goes over it. Now,
Like
he
on
invented
a
this.
drive chain, like on bicycles or early automobiles?
Well, just like any other auto chain. And it was, it's on every automobile chain you see nowadays. I don't ever see any other kind.
Okay. All right, let's see. We got some others here. How much time are we going to do? Okay, all right. What we're going to do here, Lowell, is since you've been nice enough to come visit us from Missouri, and you do write down the names of people that you meet in this book, and it's an interesting thing that you've put together. We want you to meet all of our staff.
Okay.
Do you mind doing that?
I'd love to.
They're by and large pretty nice people.
I think so.
All right.
I'd love to.
So Lowell, what we'll do, we'll come over here and we'll start with the band, and then we'll just go on through the studio and see how far we can get before we have to go to a commercial. All right?
All right.
Right over here, Lowell. Right over here. This is Lowell Davis.
Hello, nice to meet you. Will Lee is my name.
Will Lee?
Yes, I can introduce you to Steve
This
Jordan.
is our drummer. Thank you very much.
I'm pleased to know you. Mr.
No,
Farmer.
this is Steve Jordan, and this is our band leader. He's got his picture on the cover of the magazine this month, Mr. Paul Schaefer. Lowell Davis.
Pleased to meet you, Paul.
This is our guitar player. This is Hiram Bullock.
I'm Bullock. Mr. Bullock, glad to know
This
you.
is Lowell Davis, and you notice he's not wearing shoes. That would be an interesting, if you put his name in the book, you could
Yes,
mention
I
it,
will.
not wearing shoes.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I
And
wear shoes all the time myself.
yeah, you don't have to, probably.
No,
Yeah.
no log in it.
This is Lowell Davis. Jan?
Jan Switkus.
Jan Switkus.
Hi.
Lowell
How are
Davis.
you?
Gentleman up here on the boom, this is Lowell Davis. Dick, can you introduce yourself for us?
Doherty?
Yes.
Dick?
Lowell
Glad to know
Davis.
you, Dick.
Nice to see you. Sure, come on out here. Al, Lowell Davis.
Al Fresh.
Al Frisch, Lowell Davis.
Hi.
Nice to meet you. Oh, I know you. This gentleman that's taking our picture right now, this is Lowell Davis. This is... Carl Eckert. Come on over here. Are we all right on time? Okay, do you mind meeting some more folks, Lowell?
So,
Okay, watch the cable there. This is Jack. Can you say hello to our friend Lowell Davis? All righty. And Jeff, introduce yourself to Lowell. Lowell Davis. And you know Bill Wendell, I guess.
How do you do, sir? Pleasure to meet you.
glad to meet you.
Look at those pants. Okay. Here's another one of our cameramen. Bill, can you say hello to Lowell Davis?
Nice to know you.
And where else do you want to go here? Oh, Jody, come on over here, Lowell.
Okay.
And hi, this is Lowell Davis. Jody Greenberg.
Howdy, Dean. Pleased to know you.
She has a beautiful little girl. Put that at little notice. Okay. Do what? Okay, let's go through here. This is this is Ed Hall. Say hello to Lowell Davis.
Lowell, nice to meet you.
And Candy Carell.
Cindy.
Candy. And this is Bob Pook.
Nice meeting you.
And Marie, introduce yourself if you will.
Marie O'Donnell.
Nice to meet you.
And Eric, get in here and say hello to Lowell Davis.
Nice to know you too, sir.
Okay, now let's go on through here, Lowell. Watch yourself, Carl. Those are the folks in the green room. When we get done in the control room, we'll come back in there and say hello. Have you ever been in a control room before, Lowell?
No,
Oh, you met these folks a while ago? Okay, let's just start here. This is, first right here, the lady in this booth over here, these two folks. Pam Gibson, say hello to Lowell, David. And Paul, introduce yourself to Lowell, if you will.
Hiya, Paul.
Well, it's a big day for all of us, isn't it? And this is our lighting director. Say hello to Lowell Davis. Cheryl Thacker. And Terry Ronke. Can you get over to Terry?
Nice to know you.
And this gentleman right here is our director.
Hal Gurney, good to see you.
This is Hal Gurney and Lowell Davis. And now we're getting down to the heavyweights on the staff. This is Peter Fatovich, Lowell.
Pleasure.
This is Brian McAloon. Watch yourself here, Lowell.
Hey, Mike.
And then we have Liz Anderson back there. Can you say hello to?
Hello,
And in the second tier, Lowell, we have Dave Tebbett.
David.
That's close enough. Just take about. And then Jim, introduce yourself to Lowell. If you,
Jim.
and let's see, who have we missed? We got Morty. And how are we doing on time?
We better go to a commercial.
Okay, we'll go to a commercial and we'll finish up the staff here with Lowell. Nice job, Lowell. You did that very nicely. Thanks, folks. And right over here, Lynn, say hello to Lowell Davis. Thank you, folks, and welcome back to the show. Blake Clark, nice job, Blake. Please come back and see us again sometime.
I will.
Very funny stuff.
Thank you.
Tomorrow night, we will have on this program Rick Moranis and Dave Thomas, Graham Nash, and the staff hygienist from the UN, Evelyn Ruff. Good night, folks.
One of the highlights of my visit to New York was being able to meet the staff of Late Night. I have their names down, and here they are. I have met Jack Rawlins, Barry Sand, Hal Gurney, James Downey, Gerald Mulligan, Ann Beckman, Tom Gamble, Max Pross, George Meyer, Steve O'Donnell, Merrill Marcoe, David Letterman, Elizabeth Anderson, Robert Morton, Gerald Mulligan, Sandra Furton, Kathy Vesperola, Paul Schaefer, Kathleen Akers, Carol Helen Mew, Peter Petrovich, Mia Belmorovac, Laurie Leonard, Jude Brennan, Ed Hall, I'm going to get it up pretty soon, maybe. Rick Sheckman, Brian McCallum, Barbara Gaines, Chris Elliott, Sandy Gillis, Maria O'Donnell, Darcy Hetrick, Paula Needert, Lynn Kearney, Elizabeth Davis, Jamie Sayett, Jim Hill.
Now, did you know why they used to bind the feet of Oriental ladies?
Yes, we know, Paul. She was here last night, and she told us those stories. I can't remember who that was now. Who was that?
Lauren Hutton.
Oh, Lauren Hutton, sure, yeah. She was very sweet, very nice lady. She was here last night. And this lady here is also quite nice. Let me introduce
Should I
her.
then go back?
Oh, you can stay there if you want.
Stay and meet the nut
Do
lady?
whatever you want, Paul.
All right, I'll say hello to her.
You say, give her a big kiss when she comes up. All right.
All right.
My first guest tonight is the founder and operator of the Nut Museum in Old Lyme, Connecticut. Not to be confused with Lyme. This is Old Lyme. We've asked her back to Late Night to show us some of the items from her museum. Please welcome nut visionary Elizabeth Tashjian.
Nice to be here.
Lovely to see you. Oh, wonderful.
Hi, Elizabeth.
Hello, Dave.
Nice to see you.
Well, it's great to be back.
Thank you very much for being here. Have a seat there. I notice you have your own microphone on. Why is that?
Well, there's going to be a bit of maneuvering in showing my 5 multimedia panels that are based on the Nut Anthem.
The nut anthem.
The nut anthem.
Okay.
Yes, nuts are beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
And I might say that they have been a great help in removing the demerit mark off nuts. You know, nuts have a good and bad connotation. That's what I found out when I opened a nut museum. I was very innocent when I first started.
Let's go back to those days of innocence when you opened the museum. Now, how long ago did you start?
It's been 12 years from Easter.
And why did you start the Nut Museum?
Well, I wanted to show that nuts are beautiful, that they are ideas, entities, sophisticates. I wanted to give a fresh view of the importance of nuts. And you'd be surprised. Nuts have been slighted through the years, and I'm giving nuts their due.
Now, what was your first interest in nuts? Why are you so interested in them?
Well, I was an artist that painted nuts. I saw the beauty of nuts. But after I opened the Nut Museum, I realized that it has a double meaning. For instance, the admission to the museum is one nut. And one man, not having the admission, tried to donate his wife.
Tried to donate his wife?
Yes. And she was offended. And she slipped her arms through his and said, "Dear, you should not have said that," and wouldn't let him come in. Well, it's a different story now. I really have removed the demerit mark off nuts. Mission accomplished.
Well, congratulations.
Yes,
You must
it's
be
really
a very happy
required
woman. Where is Old Lyme? What part of the state is Old Lyme, Connecticut?
Well, it's about 11 miles south of New London, where the Coast Guard Academy is, and about a half an hour drive from Yale University, New Haven.
Do you get a lot of folks from the university coming in?
No.
Yeah.
But I might say they see the show.
They see which show?
Our show.
Oh, sure.
Our nuts. That they never miss. That they never miss.
And what is your attendance yearly? How many people do you put through the turnstiles?
Well, it's hard to say. Let's say during the summer, I naturally have about 50 people coming per week.
Yeah.
But I don't make it very easy for people to find the place.
Are you making good money on this?
No.
Oh, all right. All right, Elizabeth, show us, you brought some interesting
Now, these are some
from...
nuts that I didn't touch upon in my last visit. I might say a recent clip referred to the Nut Museum as Nut Heaven. Nut Heaven. And me as Queen of the Nuts. Well, I guess I ought to start the nut period and the nut era on the announcement of that title. And this is called a physique nut, or Indian olive, and hunters will usually carry this with them as a means of luring deer.
Now, is this edible?
No.
But this is a nut in here? No, this is a stone, isn't it?
Well, I'll tell you the truth. You're pretty smart. I couldn't put that across. The squirrel ate the nuts. So then I thought, this is one way of having... That's one way of having...
But this outer shell is a nut.
It's correct, yes. The pericarp is actual.
It's called a pericup?
Pericarp.
Pericarp.
Yes,
pericarp. Perihusk.
Well, no, pericarp.
Pericarp.
Yes. No, don't... Yes, well, it means the same thing.
Okay.
One is more technical.
Yeah.
Now, this is the way the cashews grow. This is the actual skin of the cashew nut. And it is the seed of the cashew apple. And it grows at the bottom of the fruit. Now, don't say this is plastic. It is plastic.
Yeah.
As I said, I can't.
But now, wait a minute. This is the cashew...
The actual cashew nut.
And it grows at the bottom of an apple?
Yes, of the cashew apple. Both are edible, the fruit as well as the nut.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yes, most people don't know of it.
So it's an appendage to an apple?
Yes, it's called cashew apple. It's also called cashew pear. Now, this is a vegetable ivory nut, and you're supposed to peel this nut very carefully, and you come to a core that resembles the costly elephant tusk. And as you see, it is a carving of an Indian head.
Oh, yeah, that's very nice. Yeah.
Now,
what kind of nut is this?
Vegetable ivory nut. And it comes
is
from
it edible?
Colombia, South America. No.
Edible. But it doesn't grow in this part of the world, just in South America.
South America.
Okay. Well, that's very beautiful.
Yes, I mean, you can see that nuts are beautiful and you can do valuable things with it. This is the way the Brazil nuts grow. Up to a year ago, this was full right to the top, about 10 to 12 nuts. They are seeds of a fruit that grows wild in the Amazon jungle. Now we're down to 3. I was heavily rated by chipmunks and squirrels. In fact, if you should see a squirrel wearing an earring that mates with the one I'm wearing, you'll know that the squirrel, you know, raided the Nut Museum.
The squirrels were?
Absolutely. They took the other earring.
No kidding.
Yes.
And are squirrels a problem for your
They
exhibits?
are.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So these are hazelnuts, is that what you said?
No,
Brazil nuts.
Brazil nuts.
Brazil nuts, okay. All right, what else do we have here?
Many people ask if the nutmeg is a real nut. It is. And it's covered with mace. There are 2 spices that come from the same pod.
I didn't realize that. Mace,
Yes,
it comes
mace.
from this spice? Okay.
Yes, mace and nutmeg.
Right. And Connecticut is the nutmeg state,
Yes,
isn't it?
it's a nickname.
Yeah. Do these grow in Connecticut?
No, they come from the West Indies.
They come from the West Indies?
Yes.
Well, why do we know Connecticut as the
Well,
nutmeg
it's a bit
state?
of a shady act involved there. Apparently, some Yankee peddlers made wooden nutmegs and tried to sell it
I
to
see.
housewives. And they found it out because when they started to break to make donuts, that was sawdust rather than, than the nut.
Okay. But I didn't realize that the outer covering is ground up
Now,
and
this
powdered
came
for mace.
from Africa, and it grows on the lemonade tree. And it looks a little
The
bit like
lemonade
the...
tree?
Yes, lemonade.
All right.
And, of course, you know that this is a double
Well, that's
coconut.
it? We're done with this one?
Yes, we're done with it.
Oh, I thought there was maybe an amusing anecdote that would go
Well,
along.
that it resembles very much, you know.
Oh,
the-
it's similar to something else.
Well, to this double coconut that looks like the human anatomy.
Is this edible?
No.
No, it's not edible. Okay. Okay, let's go on now,
Yeah.
Elizabeth.
This is called a double coconut. And it grows only in one locality, an island in the Indian Ocean. And I'm challenging Darwin's theory of evolution on this nut. I'm saying out with apes and in with nuts. Now, by making this transition from the monkey to the nut, I set free 10 million people who thought they are nuts. You can no longer pinpoint and say so-and-so is a nut and so-and-so isn't, because it looks so much like the human anatomy.
Yeah.
Now, if you feel you resemble it, and if I feel, well, you know, moles are nuts. But man is much more than that.
Yeah.
He's an embodiment of thought.
Sure, sure.
It's wonderful to hear this, sure. It's a big point I'm making.
Well, no, I mean, no,
Yes.
I'm in complete agreement.
And that holds true with visitors, too.
Yeah.
Now, at the Nut Museum...
No,
one of
wait a minute. Let me see. We want to make sure you have enough time for your song. Do we have time for her song? Okay. You want to sing, Elizabeth?
Yes, my nut answer. Oh, nobody ever thinks about nuts. Nuts can be so beautiful if looked right. Take some home and handle them properly, or just take it and feel a new taste being born. Nuts.
Very nice, Elizabeth.
Well, how about my panels?
Thank you very much for being here. You know, I don't think we have time for your panels.
Oh, just one.
I don't think we have time to show the panels. But when you come back next time, we'll take a look at them, okay?
Oh, well, all right.
All right. Thank you very much, Elizabeth. Nice to see you again. We'll be right back with Jane Curtin. Thank you. And we'll have Elizabeth back. She had some artwork, some panels she had done, and when we have her back again and we have more time, we'll look at those. I'm sorry we ran out of time. Welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. Laurie Singer is here tonight. Richard Lewis. Did somebody actually eat these? Were they all right? Not too bad? Okay. All right. Thank you very much. My first guest tonight comes from Santa Maria, California. She lives in a purple house. She drives a purple car. As a matter of fact, almost everything this woman owns is that same color. Please welcome the purple lady of Santa Maria, Jean Rath. Hi, Jean. How are you? Nice to meet you.
Welcome to my purple world.
Well, thank you. Have a seat there, Jean. Now, we mentioned your house, And you show up and you're covered purple from head to... Everything you own, literally head to toe. Everything you own is this color. Is that correct?
Well, just about everything. If I don't have it, it's not because I haven't tried. I keep working at it.
Now, why is this?
Well, I guess many years ago I started liking purple, and it was little because in the old days you couldn't get clothes. Now it's a field day for those of us who like purple, and there are a lot of us.
Yeah.
I know somebody knows about 6,000 of us.
So there are 6,000 people in this country who...
Yes, and some are men, including my husband.
Some are men. Your husband also does this.
Oh, yes, he does.
But can you if you had to cite one event in your life, did you wake up one morning and said, "Geez, Herb, you know what I'm going to do? Everything I own is just going to be purple."
That day didn't happen.
Yeah.
It sort of it was something that started and just kept happening. And I like purple better today than I did yesterday, and I like it better tomorrow than I do today.
Is there some meaning, some significance, some symbolism to the color purple?
Well, there is. It's the color of royalty. It's also very spiritual.
I see. And do you feel differently when you're dressed in purple?
Than something else?
Yeah.
Oh, very definitely.
Yeah.
I feel very different. Actually, I feel like myself in purple. I feel like somebody else in something other than purple.
Now, who is that person? Now, what is the reaction of your family? You mentioned your husband does this as well, and what about the neighbors and relatives? And
well, the neighbors haven't tarred and feathered us yet. As a matter of fact, we have a pretty good relationship with them.
Everything's okay with them?
Fine.
All right. Now, you have things that we're going to look at here, Jean. Is that correct?
Yes.
Now, that's interesting. You have some items that are purple, but they're covered with a green cloth.
Yeah, that's a little maddening, I'll tell you.
Yeah. All right, let's see what's under there. You want to look in your purse first, or what do you want to do?
What do you want?
You tell me. You're the one who has the stuff there.
Well, let's start here. I have a lot of inserts that are,
Yeah, you're hooked up there on there.
Would you like to wear this?
No.
You would?
Of course I'd like to wear this. What exactly? It's a button.
The button says I love purple.
Now, this must cost you a fortune, having these buttons printed up and buying everything purple and...
Well, the buttons started as a venture in charity, you might say. They're made by a group in Santa Maria of the developmentally disabled.
And the proceeds from the sale of the button goes to this group?
That's right.
Oh, well, that's very nice. Now, what do you have in here?
Well, let's see. My checks.
Purple checks.
Purple check.
Yeah. And on here it says the Purple Lady.
Right.
Yeah, all right. Purple checks.
Purple credit card.
Purple credit card. Now, wait a minute. How do you get a purple credit card? This is, what is this for? What is that?
Veterans Administration.
Oh, I see. And do they normally come in purple?
Yes, they do, if you happen to be a disabled veteran.
Okay.
And I happen to carry a 10% disability.
All
I
right.
worked in World War II. That's where some of this backlash to navy blue became purple.
You got tired of the navy blue, wanted something a little dressier, a little fancier. Okay.
Yeah, well, I went into what I call my yellow phase.
Yeah.
And then the purple just kind of came in underneath and took me over.
Right.
I think it selected me. I didn't select it.
What do we have under the blanket there, Jean?
Well, when traveling from coast to coast, you can't take everything, but not too many people have seen Purple Pledge, or Lavender Pledge, actually.
Yeah. Now, is there a difference between lavender and purple?
I consider purple a generic term.
Oh, I see. So lavender would fall under that.
Lavender is the scent. We have lemon pledge in this country.
Oh, this is lavender scented. I see.
That's lavender scented.
Let's try a little of this.
Let's try to...
There's no smell to this at all.
Yes, there is.
No, there isn't, Jean. You've been hoodwinked. Oh, no, there it is. Yeah, yeah.
I haven't been hoodwinked. Look at that can.
Smells like the John at a Sunoco station. Now...
How do you know?
Okay, Jean, what else? We have about a minute. Let's take a look at your best. Now, you're in New York buying purple things, aren't you?
That's right. That's the telephone that I just got yesterday. Unfortunately, this part's black.
But of course, you'll change that.
I imagine I'll work on that.
Yeah. Now, how much did this phone cost you?
Am I supposed to mention that?
Well, sure. What did it set you back?
$50.
Oh, well, that's not so bad. But the expense of traveling here to buy a purple phone, that was... You couldn't get this in California? Okay.
This is the second trip to New York to do it.
Oh, really?
A year ago.
Yeah.
I came here to do that and also to meet a very lovely lady who's in your audience.
Do we have a lovely...
Yes, you have, and then some friends.
Now, what is she... tell us about this woman.
Marilyn Kaufman is, like myself, a social worker.
Uh-huh.
And I did appear on another show called Real People. And she saw the show, realized that we had purple and social work in common. We found out later...
Right there. How do you do? Nice to see you, ma'am. Thank you for being here. And she's the East Coast purple lady.
Well, she's New York City, Manhattan's purple lady. And as I say...
Do you have a lot of other things in common? Are you like...
the numerals on our address are the same, and we were both born in February.
Well, that's interesting. It was nice meeting you.
It was nice meeting you.
Thank you for bringing your stuff by.
Oh, sure.
Have a good trip back to California. Gene Rath. We'll be right back with Laurie Singer. Thanks, folks. Folks, our next guest is 23 years old. He comes from Manhattan, where he is a shoe salesman, and he has one of the strangest hobbies ever. Please welcome George Mostoller. George, nice to see you. Now, George here collects food. You've been collecting food for how long?
Since 1977.
And why did you start collecting food?
Well, it was an accident.
An accident.
Sort of.
Explain how that happened.
This cheeseburger here.
Can we see the cheeseburger?
Yes, take
Boy,
the
is this a
cheeseburger.
piece of work. This is from 1977. You've been saving it?
Right. What happened was I took the cheeseburger home to eat it later. I just sort of put it in my pocket.
Right.
And I forgot about it for several months.
Yeah.
And then I found it later, and it still looked pretty much the same. So I said, well, that's
It still looked
interesting.
much the same?
Well, you can see the top bun is taken off here. This one here is about 2 years older than that, from 1979.
Yeah.
And it's still looks like a cheeseburger.
Now, but I understand how this one got away from you, but then what did you say to yourself that, boy, this would make a lovely collection, or what?
Well, the next thing that happened was about a year later, I took this Jello home.
This is the Jello.
Right. There's some different colored Jello cubes to eat that later. And what happened was I think I had to go out with some friends or something, so I didn't have time to eat it right then. So I said, well, I know what I'll do. I'll put it under the staircase and see if the janitor finds it. And I went back about 3 or 4 months later, and it was still there. And you can see, well, it crystallized so nicely. I said, well, I've got to see what other different kinds of foods do.
This is unbelievable. This is, of course, like the first Thanksgiving. That's what I'm in the mind of here. But you know what strikes me right off the top, and then we'll look at each of these individual kinds of food. They don't decompose. Shouldn't food just rot and go away? You don't refrigerate it, do you?
I don't refrigerate it.
Where do you keep it?
In my bedroom.
Well, have you ever had a date?
Yeah, sure.
You keep it in the bedroom. Does it smell in there?
No, not really. I mean, does it smell out here?
No, honestly, it doesn't smell too badly out here. Okay, let's go around it and show us the different stuff. But I can't get over the fact that it hasn't just turned to dust.
I wonder about that myself.
Is that the preservative? Is that the preservatives in this food?
I suppose so, but for instance, this is just a baked potato, which is broken apart because someone dropped a shoe on it. But I mean, it's there. It looked like a baked potato before it broke. But
Now, do you collect all of these yourself, or friends give them to you, or what?
Sometimes, well, certain things friends have given to me, like these eggs here were given to me by a...
How old are the eggs?
The eggs are about 4 years old. What happened?
That's amazing. Why doesn't that just decompose and go all away?
What happened with the eggs is the guy was hard boiling them. And he went out of the kitchen, the water all boiled away, and he came down and said they exploded. And he wanted to give them to me as a gift.
Right.
So,
now, Now, what is this, George?
That's a graham cracker crumb-covered chocolate pudding.
And how old is that?
That's from 1979.
Uh-huh. And you keep all of these on the plates they're in now?
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, what is this, George?
That is whipped Jello. I have 2 whipped Jellos. That one's... The other one is this one here, which is this green one. Mm-hmm. They react differently.
Now, what's the difference in the reaction?
I don't know.
What would the whipping do? I guess it puts more air into it. And what about this deal over here?
This is...
Oh, I'm sorry.
That one.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to damage any of this stuff. I'm guessing it's priceless.
Yeah.
What is that? Are these, were these hash brown potatoes?
No, this is a sliced fried plantain, which I...
Well, I wouldn't know what that looks like fresh.
There's a whole plantain there, but it's not fresh.
It's a form of banana, right?
Yeah, it's a kind of banana.
Okay, and this is a pineapple,
That's
obviously?
a pineapple.
How long have you had the
That's me.
pineapple?
That's from January of this year.
That's very strange, isn't it? Do you think that at some point toward the end of the century this will all just be dust and blow away, or is this it? Oh Lord, what is this?
Well, now which
in here with the burger? Ooh, that thing.
This is an oven. This came from the bottom of an oven. I don't know quite what it is.
That reminds me. Jiminy. It's just we got to change the cat box, Paul. I just reminded us something. And of course, here we have
That's a burned toasted bagel.
Toasted bagel.
Say.
How old is that?
That's about 4 years old.
Is there a piece of food that you'd like to add to the collection but haven't been able to yet?
Well, no.
Well, we'll think about it. George, this is mighty strange. Very strange, sir. Thank you for bringing it in, though. We really enjoyed looking at your food. Thank you. We'll be right back. So this hamburger meat is 7 years old. Good Lord, now that's not right. We have to go, folks. I'm awfully sorry we ran out of time. Bill Hicks, the comedian, will be with us as soon as we can reschedule him. Have a good weekend, folks. Thank you very much. Okay, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Coming up in this half hour, Buddy Biancalana will be here, and also this interesting woman from Texas with her interesting hobby and her interesting, actually, they're turtles. What is this, by the way? Does this have something to do with the turtles? It's a what? It's a turtle what? It's a turtle bath. Oh, we're going to bathe the turtle? Won't we need something to pry that shell off? No, it's a joke. It's a joke. My next guest is excuse me one moment. My next guest is a fascinating woman. She is 81 years of age. She comes to us from South Padre Island. Do you know where that is, Paul?
It's in the Andalusian Islands.
That's right. And it's also the sister city in Texas, where she is known as the Turtle Lady. Please welcome Isla Loetscher. Hi, Isla. I don't want, no. Let me take your hand. Come on over here. Come on over. Come on over here. Oh, my gosh. No, I don't want it.
No, you don't have to.
No, I don't want it. No, what kind of turtle is that, Isla?
To see you.
Oh,
this is an Atlantic green, and its name is Jerry. It can get to be.
It's Jerry the Turtle, kids.
It can get to be 600 pounds.
This will grow to be 600 pounds? And what do they eat to get that big?
Well, everything I give it.
Yeah, I suppose so. And how old will Jerry get to be?
Jerry can get to be 136 years old.
No kidding. And how old is Jerry now?
1 year.
Oh, my gosh. Does this guy have trouble ahead of him?
You see, I named him Jerry because we always name it after the person that brings the turtle to us.
I see.
And that was Jerry. And...
Yeah, that's an interesting formula you have worked out there.
Yeah. I mean, you can't sex them until they're 15 years old.
They can't be sexed till they're 15?
15 years old.
I think that's a good law.
It works.
Now, Isla, before we talk, is this animal all right? I mean, he has kind of a dazed look.
Well,
on the other hand, I don't think I've ever seen an alert turtle. But Yeah.
No, he's all right. He's fine.
Well, you almost kissed it.
You want...
Now you are a fascinating individual aside from your turtle activities. You were an aviatrix. You were the first woman licensed pilot in the state of Illinois
yeah.
and Iowa. What year was that?
That was 29.
1929. Do you still fly?
No, I do not fly anymore.
One of your contemporaries was Amelia Earhart.
That's right.
You were in an organization, what was it called?
99.
The 99. Did you know Amelia Earhart?
Yes, I knew Amelia Earhart.
Okay.
And there were 99 of us that were flying in the United States then, and she organized us into a club.
Now, we're going to take a look at some more of your turtles, aren't we?
Okay, well, let's first...
Okay, take that off. We'll do a commercial here while you get Jerry ready there.
Oh, don't you want to see it?
Of course we want to see it, but we'll do a commercial and then we'll be right back. This would make a great doorstop, wouldn't it, this thing here? Well, that's a beautiful animal. We'll be right back, folks. Okay, you're gonna show, what are you gonna show us with Jerry there?
Well, I'm going to show you how beautiful he is when he skinny dips.
All right. Okay.
Isn't he beautiful?
He's a lovely animal.
animal.
How did you get started collecting these?
Because all sea turtles are endangered. And this
Are they being hunted or they're just dying off?
No, they are being, natives are cutting off the skin for making boots.
Oh, I see.
And then they also take their eggs and eat the eggs.
Yeah. Are they being protected by any kind of law?
Yes, right now they definitely are.
Okay.
All sea turtles are on the endangered list.
So you've been protecting them for how many years? When was your first
24
one? 20
years.
You keep them there at your house?
Yes.
How many do you have?
I have 17 at my home.
Do they make good companions?
Wonderful companions.
Yes. Are they noisy?
No.
Don't keep you up at night.
No, they never talk back.
Yeah. Do they ever run off?
No, they can't because they're in water all the time.
Well, sure.
You
Now
see,
these are
sea turtles.
Yeah. Okay. All right. No. Now, what else can you? I understand you've taught the animal to do tricks, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Now this is a mammal, isn't it? That's what it is. Sure.
No, it's a reptile.
Oh, it's a reptile. You're right.
Now, you want to show him, you see, all little children love to play, and so do sea turtles.
Well, sure, that would only figure.
And okay, let's show Jerry the game you taught me to play. Okay, let's go.
I don't know if you can see it, but the smile on this turtle's face. She's smiling from ear to ear there. Now how do... actually, he doesn't have ears, does he?
Yes, he does.
Oh, he does have them.
His ears are right under here. And you see the little bump back here? It's shaped exactly as your ear is. And they have a very wonderful sense
but it's
of
under
hearing.
It's under a membrane, isn't it?
It's under a membrane
Okay.
to keep the water out.
What other tricks do you and Jerry work up?
Okay, little Jerry. You want to show him all about Polly Bergen? You know, Polly Bergen.
We're going to learn all about Polly Bergen.
Well, she is noted for making more people in the world beautiful than any other cosmetic company.
Okay.
And that's because she puts turtle oil in her product. Okay, come on, you're going to give Mommy a... This little girl has turtle oil all underneath here, and she can give me a Polly Bergen. Okay, come on, let's give Mama a Polly Bergen. Oh, that feels so good. Real turtle oil. Okay, let's do the other side. Oh, that feels so good.
How long did it train you to? Did it take you to train that animal to do that?
I've only had this turtle for 2 weeks.
Oh, 2 weeks. Well, he's coming right along, isn't he?
Yeah,
And now, Isla, you have another turtle we're going to take a look at? Okay. Why don't you put Jerry down there? And what?
Here he comes. Here he comes.
Hi, nice to see you. What is your name?
I'm Evelyn Sizemore.
Evelyn Sizemore. Nice to meet you. You have a broken arm there.
No, not really. Turtle Olympics, you know.
Oh, a turtle mishap?
No.
Oh, well, I hope it heals up soon.
Thank you.
Okay, nice seeing you.
Good to see you.
Okay, bye. All right, now what do you have? What? Wow.
Pancho.
So they really love to be dressed up, don't they?
And his name is Pancho
That's
Gonzalez.
Pancho? Is this an Atlantic turtle also?
This is
An Atlantic green?
no,
Is
he's subtropical.
He's a subtropical turtle.
Yeah.
And how old is Pancho?
Pancho is 3 years old, and he is a little quiet now because he likes warmer weather.
Yeah. And,
Okay.
And do you have tricks that you do with Pancho there?
Yeah, Pancho, you see, he was brought to me because he has one severed flipper.
Oh, yeah.
And then his bottom flippers were all chewed off. And he couldn't get any place in the water, so he just went around in circles.
Yeah.
So they brought him to me.
Boy, do I know that feeling. But he's all right now, isn't he?
We trained him to go in a straight line. We took the biggest shrimp we could find.
Follow the shrimp.
And held it in front of him.
Yeah.
And then he found out he wanted that shrimp so badly that it only took him 2 weeks and 5 pounds of shrimp.
Yeah. Well, you know, you're a fascinating woman, a delightful lady, and you're doing an awfully nice thing for the turtle population of this world.
Well, thank you.
Well, thank you for being here, Isla. Nice meeting you. We'll be back with Buddy Bianco. Okay. My next guest has written more songs than Rodgers and Hammerstein, Lennon and McCartney, and Steve Allen combined. He is recognized throughout the world as the most prolific songwriter of all time, all the way from Orangeville, Ontario. Near you, Paul?
Yeah, well,
not far. Not far. Please welcome George Cook.
Merry Christmas to you.
Thank you for being here.
Have a seat right here.
Thank you for coming down from Orangeville, Ontario.
It's my pleasure.
You've been writing songs all your life, I guess?
Since 1936.
36, and how many?
2 years old, man.
Was that right? It's a joke, isn't it?
I'm not trying to get ahead of you or something.
No, that's all right. Believe me. No, if you can, go right ahead. We need all the help we can get. Do you remember the first song you wrote?
It was Love's Memories.
Love's Memories.
Yeah.
How does that go?
You have to go and ask my wife. I think she's the only one who remembers it.
You don't remember the song?
No.
How many do you write in a day?
Well, I've written 126. But as soon as I write them, I don't remember them.
But
they're gone.
They're gone.
The past.
But do you write them? You write them down, though, don't you?
I write them down. I have like one, and then the date, and etc. You know.
And do you write them at a piano, with a guitar? How do you do that?
I write the music with violin, and
with violin,
and then I put them on tape.
And then you just forget about them.
Not really.
well, then let's...
No, they go out. I sing them, and
you do
they're
sing
on records, and I recorded at the same time as Gene Autry. I'm not very old, folks, but I did.
All right, no, but the point is, we'd like to hear a couple of these songs. Now, we have some tapes here of your songs.
Yes, and
okay, I'll just call out a song here. What, did you write all kinds of music?
Yes, I have written a terrible lot of music, and there's some good and there's some bad.
How many good are there out of the ones you've written?
Well, why are they laughing?
Well, I'm not sure.
Anyway, let's face it. I've written these songs as a hobby, folks. I made records for Mellotone in 1939, 40, and It's on the same label as Gene Autry. That's as far as I go there.
Mellow Tone was the record company?
And I've written songs.
And you have some tapes out now, some albums out now?
And an album in Germany. I made it's 20 countries in Europe, and they like it because it's a country and bluegrass.
That's popular in Germany.
That's right.
That's interesting, isn't it?
So I'm supposed to play over there this year coming up in 1986.
Okay.
In Australia also.
Now give me an example of the most recent song you wrote. What was the most recent one?
Well, you want to hear well, the last one I wrote was
Did you write any today?
Not today. No. I've been running around with the wife taking her shopping.
Yeah, okay. What did you write any yesterday?
Yesterday I wrote 20, and the last one I wrote was. Yeah, well, that's right. I wrote 20.
Okay. Now, was
I
that
know
a good day?
I know it's Christmas time.
Was that a good day for you or an off day?
An off day.
An off day. All right, play one of those that you wrote.
All right. I'm not going to look at you when I'm
No,
singing.
that's all right. No, just make yourself at home.
Okay.
Okay, what's the name of the song?
Well, I'm going to just give a few bars of this one, and I was watching a story about guys beating their wives.
So this is a special Christmas tune then, I guess.
Now, man, if you're looking for trouble, you gotta watch out with your life. Don't join the group and the rabble. Just stop beating your wife.
Yeah, that's nice. No, but that's a light approach to a very, very grave topic.
Well, that's what we don't do. I don't do that.
No, well, I know. I'm not saying you do that. Just relax. You're not under oath, George.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Now, can you give me an example of like a rock and roll song?
I'll give you a little bit. Folks, I don't sing rock and roll, so bear with me, please.
Okay.
I wrote this one here, and it says, all the kids are singing rock and roll. And this is a couple of days ago.
Yeah, keep them fresh, if you will.
Yes,
We don't want any of the old stuff. We don't want any of those last week songs.
I sing the songs of the old days, and here's all I can say. All the kids are singing rock and roll today.
Just give me a little bar.
Yeah, very nice. Okay, now let's tell them. Here's George Cook, world record songwriter. You have 2 albums out. I guess you can buy these in record stores anyway. Nice to have you down here for the holidays. Pleasure meeting you, George.
Same here.
Thank you very much. Nice job. We'll be back here with Larry Miller.
Let's see how this works now with our brand new sound effect. We just. It's working pretty well.
That's asking, pick a sound effect.
Let's try it again. This should be the, well, I don't know.
The zither, the thing on the zither.
Bowling ball on the zither. There you go. That's it.
Well, that was worthwhile.
Huh?
That was worthwhile, that
Is the top 10 ready? Let's do the top 10 list now. Is it ready? Huh? No. It's not ready.
Not ready.
For the past 17 years, our first guest has been a potato chip inspector at the Seifert Potato Chip Plant in Fort Wayne, Indiana. For the first time on network television, she is here tonight with her unusual potato chip collection. Please welcome Myrtle Young. Myrtle, come on out. Hi, Myrtle. Nice to see you. How are you? Come on up here. All right. Stop. Hey. I'm sorry, Myrtle. Something's happened to the audience. We don't know what exactly, but now, as your job as an inspector, what are we inspecting potato chips for? What are we looking for?
We look look for the burnt chips or the discolored or any of them that are raw.
Imperfections?
Yes, spotted.
And you stand in a huge room surrounded by conveyor belts with chips coming by, and you pick them out?
There are six ladies, and the chips pass in front of us, and we take the bad ones out.
This is after they've been fried in the what are they fried in exactly?
Oil.
Oil?
We don't want to give any trade secrets out.
And then what do you do with the ones that are imperfect?
We throw them away.
Throw those away. But you've started collecting some of those imperfect chips, haven't you?
Yes, in some of them I saw little shapes of animals and people. And,
did you ever see any actual little animals? Yeah. So here we have part of your collection. How many chips do you have?
About 200.
And how long have you had these? Is this from 17 years worth of collecting?
No, these here are a little over a year old.
And how long will they keep like that?
Indefinitely, until they get broken.
Is that because they're all loaded up with some kind of additives or something?
Nothing.
Just,
Nothing at all.
On its own, a chip will last indefinitely.
I imagine.
But yet somehow we can digest those. Unusual, isn't it? Okay, Myrtle, why don't you show us some of your favorite parts of the collection here?
This one is one of my favorite.
Do you mind if I hold this?
On the side.
Okay. And
That's
what
a
is
little
that?
dog. That's
a little dog.
Oh
yeah. It is. It looks like a little chihuahua, doesn't it? Now, what would cause this burned mark there?
There is either too much sugar or too much starch or something in that.
In the potato?
In the potato slice.
Okay. Okay.
And.
Do you travel around the country with this collection, Myrtle?
No, you are my first. I have another a show to do.
You're doing another show after this? What is the other show you're doing?
Fort Wayne.
You're doing a local show there in Fort Wayne. Now, do the people at Seifert's, is it Seifert's? Or
yes,
do they know you're doing this?
Yes.
Do they mind?
No.
Yeah. Do they pay you a little something for these? You should, I mean, all of the publicity they're getting, you should maybe ask them for a grand here or there, you know? Sure. Okay. And what do we have here? I know what this is. This is a rat.
Well.
Yeah. A rat in with the potato chips, Myrtle.
Well, not really.
Yeah. You see a lot of rats at the plant, though, don't you? All right. Now that one's pretty good. You have that in a special box there. Okay.
Yes, I don't want his tail to get broken.
Do other women there at the plant do this as well, or just you?
Sometimes they find other chips.
All right.
And those are little pair of cowboy boots.
Yeah. Wow. Now, these might have been consecutive slices from the markings on them, don't they?
These come off of the same potato. Yes, and they come real fast. They're sliced real fast.
These go by quickly when you're standing
Yes.
there? How many hours a day do you do this?
8.
8 hours a day you're picking out potato chips?
Yes.
Do you ever get kind of lightheaded?
No.
You ever start to imagine things that maybe aren't really there, Myrtle?
He's a bruiser.
Okay. No, I'm
That
sorry.
way.
That's what I was going to say.
Yes, see, he's a boxer or a fighter.
Looks like a little, maybe, or an elf, a little cartoon elf, maybe? Like one of the dwarves, you think?
No.
No. I don't know what I was thinking of. I must be insane.
Right there's, that's Mr. Magoo.
Mr. Magoo? All right. Oh, yeah, that does look like Mr. Magoo. See, Mr. Magoo? Okay. All right.
And I have 4 brothers here. Do you see the 4 brothers?
Well, I see Mom and Dad, but I don't... I think maybe the kids have been eaten. Okay, there they are. 1, 2, 3, 4.
4 brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, they're off probably the same potato.
The same potato.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you ever thought about taking a real long vacation, Myrtle? Like maybe 6 months, taking a break from the job and going to the south of France and just forgetting about potatoes for a while. These are actually very, very impressive, and this must be a lot of fun for you, huh?
Yes.
All right, let's see. We have time for one more. Pick out one more there, Myrtle. Is this insured, your collection?
No, I just keep finding them.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Let's see. I don't know. Oh, here's Pegasus, the flying horse.
The winged horse, Pegasus.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's a little swan. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh. Yeah. That's Pegasus and the swan. Well, this is certainly a unique collection. I don't think anybody does this, do they?
It's probably the only one in the world.
Yeah.
This is that. Remember that moose that was in love with a cow?
Somewhere in New England, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Myrtle, it was a real pleasure meeting you. Say hello to the folks back in Fort Wayne, and thanks for your time and coming up here. We'll be right back, folks. You know, ladies and gentlemen, some men collect pipes, some collect fishing lures, some collect baseball cards. My next guest collects hair. Please welcome barber, humanitarian, hair collector, Bill Black. Bill, come on out. Hi, nice to see you. Thank you for being here, sir. You yourself, we mentioned, are a barber, yes, and I guess therein lies the origin of this hobby of yours.
Right.
Yeah, and why do we want to collect hair?
I find you take hair and use it for very practical, valuable things.
Is it safe to have hair around for more than like a couple of days?
Oh, yes.
I mean, it'll last forever, right?
Yes, it will.
And essentially hair is what? What is it made of?
Protein, nitrogen, protein, carbon, sulfur, hydrogen.
And is there any, aside from the relaxation and amusement you derive from this, is there a grander, more broad sweeping application?
Yeah, I think we can use it someday in practical things. This hair vest I'm wearing, clothes. This is cloth made from hair.
Wait a minute, this vest is made from hair?
This is real human hair. Now, that'd be about 2 inches.
Yeah, see?
Yes, sir.
And how did we get it from the state it is on our heads to this vest here?
People donated it, and a girl named Jean spun it, and Diane, who works with me, she made it into a vest. It's all handmade.
And this will last forever. But what if you're like a party and somebody bumps into you with a cigarette, and then you've got the smell of burning hair?
Same problems. We have one here for you, too.
No kidding.
Yes, this is for you.
And
all right. It snaps.
you know what this looks like? It looks a little like a toupee with buttons. Is there...
I love that.
But like on a hot day, will I sweat more, or will there be...
It's very similar to wool.
Really? And this is perfectly safe, perfectly sanitary?
Yes.
How do you sterilize it?
We use chemical solutions. There's heat waves. There's various varieties.
So it's all very safe?
Yes.
All right, show us some of this other stuff here.
Okay.
Boy, this is a beauty.
Is potting soil that I take hair and I grind it up.
Potting soil?
And pulverize it and blend it and mix it. Because hair is protein. It has 80% nitrogen. And it's a natural, slow-release additive.
I'm confused here. I thought we were talking about hair, and yet we have potting soil. What is the...
I take the hair, I grind it, I mix it into the soil, and it makes a great plant food and soil conditioner.
You grind hair?
Yes. I had a meat grinder here, but they took it away from me.
Well, yeah, probably needed a hair grinder instead of a meat grinder. So what you're saying is because of the nitrogen, it's an excellent fertilizer.
Yes, it's a natural, organic, recyclable, renewable resource.
What else do we have?
Tassels. And this is our flies.
So you go fishing?
Yes, a woolly boogie. This is a dry fly, and this is a nymph fly. Yeah. And you can go fishing with these.
Now see, this to me seems like a better application than does the clothing. Do you have a complete wardrobe of hair items? Is that?
You could.
Yeah, I guess you could. And then the shoes, that's really a good look. I don't think that'll ever go out of style.
I have on too.
And then I guess when this needs to be cleaned, what, a little liquid Prel?
Right. Conditioning shampoo.
And can you, of course, a conditioner.
Hairspray.
Yeah. What is, oh, Lord. It's the popular hair salami, ladies and gentlemen. What exactly is that?
It's a draft stopper. When you get cold air under your doors, you put it on your doors.
Wedge that, yeah.
It could be a fertilizer donut. You put it around your plant.
Yeah.
There, you have a coat. Why not your plants?
Is everything all right at home?
No.
And then for the kids, we have little
stuff. I left it open.
Oh, brother.
But it shows practical uses for hair.
And this is, again, completely
Sterilize,
safe.
wash,
yeah, and this, what is that? Boy, I had a cat once unloaded one of these. Well, Harry, it was a pleasure meeting you. Good luck with your hobby. Thank you for the best. Harry Black. Okay, tomorrow on the program, kids, Sandra Bernhardt will be here, Emmy Lou Harris, and Skip Stevenson will be talking to the world's meanest traffic cop. Have a good night. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye. Did you like the Proclaimers? Did you like the Proclaimers?
I love the complainers, yeah.
No, not complainers, the Proclaimers.
Yes.
Yeah. Our next guest has been approached by Ripley's Believe It or Not, all the way from Bishopville, South Carolina. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Button King, Dalton Stevens. Dalton. Oh. I'm beginning to understand now why you're the Button King.
Well, I got a lot of buttons.
I see. How did this begin, and if you can describe for us the scope of this project?
Well, insomnia, I don't sleep at night, so...
You don't sleep at all?
Some nights, a lot of nights, I don't ever go to bed, so I started sewing buttons. Because my family would go to bed and go to sleep. I'd be sitting up, so I happened to think of buttons, so I sewed all the buttons that were around the house. And everywhere else I could get them, and then started getting them from a button company, started giving them to me.
Oh, so you get your buttons free?
Yeah, right.
Well, it would be easy to be the Button King if you didn't have to pay for your buttons.
That's right.
Now, let's go back to this a second. Because you were having trouble sleeping, as a pastime, you did what? You took a button, one button? Is that where it started?
Well, I was sitting up every night, so I couldn't afford to get out and ride around all over, so everybody else was going to bed.
Right.
So I just started sewing, and...
So you took one button and you sewed it onto what?
Well, I got what my wife had. And I just come out and put them out on the table. I laid them out 25 at a time. So I started sewing, and I sewed those, and, well, I just kept sewing.
And you affix buttons to everything?
Well, everything that has a meaning, it has to have a meaning for me to do it.
For example, like what?
Well, I got them on my guitar, as you see, my banjo, my car, and then I done my casket in buttons.
We have pictures of both of these things here. Let's take a look at the casket. You've had some counseling, right?
No, not yet.
This is, what is this? This is you, of course, in front of, now, is that the box in which you'll be?
Yeah, that's the one I'm going to be put away. The only time that thing upsets me is my temperature the other night went up to 99, and I got tensed up, but that's the only time. It don't bother me.
Could you do anything with zippers? Have you thought about that?
Well, I haven't, but I would.
Just an idea. Just an idea. And here is your car.
I got over 100,000 buttons on that car. I got 16,300. I got 16,333 buttons on my suit, cap, shirt, and pants. I got 11 pounds on my shirt, 5 pounds and 1 ounce on my pants, 517 on my shoes, over 100,000 that I just told you on my car, 60,000 on my casket.
What kind of mileage do you get here in your car?
Well, the only time I drive is when I'm entertaining.
I see. And do people seem to like you in your town? Does your family enjoy this and encourage it?
Yeah. All the girls tell me I look cool.
Do you, what do you do for a living? Are you still working? Are you retired? What do you do?
No, I'm retired.
So this is an excellent pastime for you.
This is an excellent pastime.
Do you have any future projects coming up?
I'm starting a button museum at my home. I'm going to have it walls covered, but all that's going to have a meaning.
Right.
On one side, I'm going to have design artwork done on it.
So that's the key to it. As long as the application of the buttons has meaning, then it'll be in the museum.
I'll do it because I need to do it because I need to sleep. And I want you to give me a button tonight to put in my museum.
All right. Well, do you want one now?
I'd like to have one at from the bottom of your shirt.
From the bottom of my shirt?
Yes.
All right. There you go. Take whatever you want. I mean, as far as buttons go. It's only a joke. Yeah. Did you get it?
No, I didn't get it, but I'd love to have it.
All right. Hey, what's this wire?
Wait,
I could use a checkup.
Wait, I don't want to cut that.
There you go. Great. Now that'll be displayed prominently.
This is going to be in my museum.
Nice to meet you. Are you going to sing for us? We'll be right back. Let's do a commercial. We'll be right back. All right, Dave Brubeck in the band. Thank you, guys. Dalton will be performing. You got a gig coming up.
Right.
Yeah. At the Pinellas County Fair in Florida from March 28th. Oh, that's just this week, isn't it? Next week? March 28th through the 2nd of April.
Right.
Pinellas County Fair in Florida, March 28th through April 2nd. Nice meeting you. And I understand you're going to end the show with us for us tonight with a song. Is that right?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead. Here's Dalton Stevens and the button song.
Yeah. Button King.
All right.
If you like the color of my clothes, would you give me buttons instead of a rose? Buttons can be square round, they keep my pants from falling.
Great, thank you. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Our next guest proved that if a little learning is a dangerous thing, a lot of learning isn't necessarily any less dangerous. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Frank Lehman and Trudy Shape, the Bee People. Frank? Nice to see you. Trudy, pleasure to see you. Are you enjoying Mardi Gras?
Yes.
Good. Tell me how it is that you two are... what part of the country are you from?
Dayton, Ohio.
Oh, great city, great state.
We like to say hi to everybody in Ohio.
Good for you. How is it you got to be the Bee People?
She started me on it. She said, Daddy, there's a whole bunch of bugs flying around out here.
Right.
I said, boy, first of me, termites.
Right.
So I go around the side of the house, and here's a big swarm of bees hanging
They
in
weren't
the tree.
termites at all. They were
way.
termites. I see, yeah. And then bees have become part of your life then?
Right.
Yeah. Do you collect bees? You keep bees?
I have 2 hives, about 50,000 bees in a hive.
And they produce a great deal of honey?
And we got about 65 pounds last year off of 2 hives.
65 pounds of honey? Yeah. Do you ever get stung?
Oh, that's a silly question.
Oh, jeez. Damn, I was just stung here. Wouldn't that be something if I'd actually been stung?
That's like asking a man if it's a wood carver like I am.
You ever cut yourself?
If you ever cut yourself.
Sure, you're going to get stung. It's part of the game. You knew it when you got into it, didn't you?
Right.
Okay. I guess you show us these various bee items?
Yes. This is a swarm of bees that I made. Got a speaker inside.
Oh, turn it on. Let's hear it.
3,000 bees in there. And
turn it on. Can we hear it?
We'll see if we can get you a little music here from the swarm of bees.
Okay.
That's the actual sound of the bees in the hive.
It's so lifelike, it's scaring me.
That's the actual.
Yeah, that's the actual sound of the bees,
Yeah.
and that goes on for several hours.
Now this here will go into the big bee. I created this big bee.
Should we turn that one off?
Yeah.
All right, turn that. Right, that's the actual sound
That's the actual sound of this bee here, that size. Okay.
You were sitting in the backyard one day, and this flew over the fence?
Not this one, no. This.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Do you have a museum, kind of a collection of things at your home there?
Well, I got 11 hobbies. I do a little bit of everything.
Oh, great.
Jack of all trades, master of none.
Good. Well, perhaps you can come back with some of the other hobbies.
Now she's going to sing you a little song here.
All right.
And I'll show you how we were supposed to have some bees come in.
What happened?
And what happened, they didn't get here. We were going to have them in this little observation hive that I made.
But the bees didn't arrive?
The bees didn't arrive.
Probably booked on Eastern.
You got something there. This a little.
Get them on American or United next time coming out of Ohio. Okay, and I guess now we hear the bee song?
Yes.
All right.
Well, first of all, I wanted to tell you that if you notice on the bees here, these three things on my forehead.
Right, I notice you
Those
have.
are the eyes of the bee. They have these three little things on their head, and they have two on each side, so they have five eyes.
What are the big things over here? Are those?
Those are eyes,
Yeah,
also.
I see.
That's what they see to make their hive in the hive.
Okay.
But
And now we'll hear the bee song. Did you write this song?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Honey is needed, is good to eat. You should have a teaspoon each day. Put honey on your face each week. The wrinkles will go away. And for wounds and burns and such, honey is really a plus. Honey is needed, is good to eat. You should have a teaspoon each day.
Very nice. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir. Pleasure to meet you.
Work this big bee. All right.
What? Anything else? Okay. We have to do a commercial, but we'll be right back here with the bee people. Thank you very much. Well, Frank and Trudy, I feel like we all now know the bee a little bit better.
That's for sure. I hope.
Do you have one other little bit of bee activity?
We're going to make the big bee come alive.
Oh, goodness.
Wave your wand.
Somebody get the raid.
Come on, Nellie, you ain't that sleepy. Come on, one more time. I get nectar out of the flower.
Good night, everybody. Is here from Bisbee, Arizona, where he sells his book and only his book, Me and Henry. This is the book right here in the One Book bookstore. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome author-proprietor Walter Swan. Walter, are you... Good. Have a seat.
Any better, couldn't stand it.
Well, now tell me about the, tell me about the book first. This is a book that you put together, your own book.
All right. This book, well, it starts back. I had 8 kids, and I had a entertainment evening, so I told them stories. My wife said, they're funny, you ought to write them down.
Right.
For 30 years, I wrote them down, Dave.
Yeah.
And then she gave them to the kids for Christmas presents. Next thing you know, she wanted to get them published. And nobody wanted to publish it. It wasn't vital enough, wasn't sexy enough, and all that other kind of good stuff.
So you sent them out to all publishers all over the country, nobody interested?
Nobody interested. So nobody wanted to publish the book, so we published it. Nobody wanted to sell it. So there's nothing else to do but open up a one-book bookstore and start selling it.
Really? Now, so I guess at some point in that process, others would have been discouraged.
Well, maybe.
So you published it yourself.
That's right.
And this is a collection of your recollections of your childhood, growing up, and so on and so forth. All right, so you get the book, and then how do you open the bookstore?
Open the bookstore?
Yeah.
All I did was just went in there and opened the bookstore. My wife says, you can't do no good there. Says, you go broke. Next door to another bookstore. Says, you're nuts.
Yeah.
And I said, well, we did everything else was nuts, and this ought to be one more, and maybe it'll work.
Yeah, why not?
Why not?
So your bookstore is actually right next to another bookstore?
Next to another bookstore.
Yeah. Did you ever think of maybe asking the existing bookstore if they were interested in selling your book?
Oh, yeah, but you know what she did? She wanted to sell them below her cost, and I didn't like that.
Yeah, yeah.
No, I said, no more books. You're going to sell them that cheap. I'll sell them here.
Right. Well, what kind of inventory do you have? If I were to walk into your bookstore now, how many copies of this book would be there?
Well, I ain't got very many left. I sold them all out.
Oh, really? So you're doing pretty well.
Yeah, I sold 6,000 copies of it.
Uh-huh.
You know, this bookstore owner next door there, she got mad at me first.
Yeah.
You know, she wouldn't even speak to me. And now she smiles at me, and next thing you know, she's waving at me and say, hi, Walt, every time she goes by. And it's done her more good than it's done me.
So it's helped business?
Oh, it's helped business a lot, you bet.
And I guess the service is the same in both stores?
Oh, yeah.
Friendly service?
Oh, yeah.
Helpful? Pleasant surroundings?
Oh, yeah.
But she has more of a variety, maybe?
Well, what you call variety. Depends on what variety you like, don't it?
Yeah. Okay, so give us an example of one of these stories in Me and Henry. And Henry is your brother?
My older brother.
Older brother.
Well, one of the fun stories we had in there, see, my dad bought a new car.
What kind of car was it?
Old Model T.
What year are we talking about?
It's about 1919.
1919.
1919. And we went to show it off to the neighbors. And when I took it over to the neighbors, and he was showing it off there, and he says, Bert, what's up here? He says, well, that used to be a mirror. He says, what'd you do, take that down? He says, yeah. He says, my wife will ever run into a horse and buggy or a cow sometime. And he says, well, that's to see if there's somebody coming back. And it really upset my dad. And then he said, I'm going to get it back on that old man. So he says, hey, Lawrence, twist your tail. That means crank it up. Yeah. And that's one of the ones he wanted to tell him about this self-starter. Right. He put the starter on and started right up. And by gosh, he just sat there and laughed and drove off. My dad got one on him that time. Yeah.
Right here in the book.
Right here in the book.
Now, have literary scholars looked at the book?
Oh, yeah.
And how do they evaluate it?
They evaluate it's not any good.
No, it's a nice collection of American stories.
Yeah, but they said it won't sell.
Well, it's doing pretty well. You said you sold 6,000 copies. Yeah. Are you going to write another book?
Yeah, I got 4 more written.
Oh, good.
You what they are?
Now, will you open 4 separate stores for those?
That's a good question. I don't know what I'm going to do with that.
How old are you?
I'm 74.
74. Nice to have you here. Good luck with the book.
Thank you very much.
We'll be right back. It's a story about 2 boys growing up in the old family homestead in Cochise County when Arizona was an infant state. See, I think this is the kind of thing we should take more care in preserving. I'm looking forward to reading this. Nice to meet you. Have a great summer. Thanks for coming in. We'll see you Monday night, folks. Have a good weekend. Our next guest has spent the last 10 years creating works of art from orange peels. Tonight, Tonight, this man is here to show us some of his best work. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the orange peeler man, Harold Goebel. Harold! Nice to see you. Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, did you hear? Did you hear the Clash broke up?
No.
Where are you from, Harold?
I'm from St. Louis, Missouri.
Oh, that's right, St. Louis, Missouri. It's the gateway to the Golden West, isn't it?
That's right.
How long have you lived there?
Oh, my goodness, all my life except when Army took me away.
Yeah, and how long did you serve there?
3 years.
3 years, and where did you go? You were in Europe?
I ended up in New Guinea.
Oh, New Guinea.
Yeah.
Well, good to have you back.
Yeah.
And when did you decide that citrus fruit was not only rich in vitamin C, but also potentially a work of art?
Well, I was a bi-state bus operator. That's in St. Louis Transit Company. And I was on the end of my line. I always carry an orange peeler with me and an orange.
Is there?
Yes.
Is that something you learned in New Guinea?
Yeah, probably did.
Always carry an orange peeler with you.
You bet. Yes. New to do.
Yeah. And so you're driving your bus. You have your orange peeler. You have an orange. What happened?
All right. My hands was dirty, and I wanted to see if I could peel an orange without getting my dirty hands on the orange.
Okay.
Okay. And when I did that, I not only got the orange out of the peeling, but without getting dirt all over my oranges, you know, and it came out looking like a starfish.
Was this bus you were driving, there wasn't like a leak in the muffler, was there?
No. As far as... If it did, it probably came down from the roof.
I know, just trying to make a silly little joke. All right, well, now, why don't you recreate your first discovery of the peeling of the orange, and we'll start there, and then we'll look at other things.
Okay, fine. Well, I've been encouraged here today to help you peel an orange with me.
Okay.
And I've got this one already.
Should I start there? Or?
Okay, I got this one already started, and you can complete it down the part that hasn't been... Yeah. But I've got...
I just put it in there right like that?
Yes, sir.
Oh, this has already been done.
Well, there's another one over here that hasn't.
What challenge is there in this? This is a pre-peeled orange.
We can start a new one.
Yeah, give me a new one.
All right.
Is this thing very sharp here? This?
Yes, sir.
There's nothing. Look.
All right. But I'll tell you what, if you do slip off of this here, start at the navel. All
right.
And if you happen to have your finger under there, you're going to feel it if it doesn't draw blood, I mean.
I've heard that a million times.
Yes. I normally start at... I normally start at the navel because the stem is so hard to get off. So I go ahead and start peeling right on down. Now, if you want to keep it together...
Well, look what I'm doing here. There we go.
You're really going around the world.
Yeah. Now I can't get that out of there now. It seems to be caught in the...
Oh, all right.
Okay, now...
Hey, you're doing fine.
Just like that?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, you're way ahead of me.
All
You've
right,
been practicing.
Well, sure. You're not exactly dealing with a chimp.
No.
That's exactly what you are dealing with. Here, okay, now, is mine peeled? I guess not.
Yes, but now this other end will take it off.
Oh, that the other end,
You
sure.
go in one card, but not the other. Oh, boy.
There you go.
You've been doing this somewhere. Oh, you're not supposed to use your fingernails.
Well, I know that, but I wasn't having much luck with this.
Oh, all right.
We're running out of videotape. All right, so now we get the idea. You clean it off, you peel it off, clean as a whistle. Where does the art part come in?
Well, you can start peeling different designs along with it.
All right.
Or you can
This would make a lovely Christmas tree decoration.
Yeah, right. Hey, Girl Scouts recommended that to me. Yes.
There you go. All right.
Yeah.
This
one looks like that great.
Is that?
Yes.
Is that Pee Wee Herman?
Well, you might call him that, right? Yeah.
What do you call him?
Well, he's that gray fellow that does all those dancing and singing with.
Joel Gray.
Joel Gray.
Gray.
But during the shipment coming over on the plane, they got really tossed around. He lost one eye.
Yeah, he got his eye knocked out there, didn't he?
Right, yeah.
Well, you know, if you look like that, you're going to get punched. I think that's what that is. And then here we have, this looks like the Reverend Al Sharpton here. What the hell is this?
I thought it was a jitterbug person.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
And then here, this would be another lovely tree ornament.
Yes,
All right.
Look at that
all
one.
right, now how about this? What do you have there?
Well, that was just supposed to be a jack-o'-lantern, but it got such an odd-looking shape to it, I decided to make something else.
Uh-huh. And this also is the skin of an orange?
Yes, grapefruit mostly. These are grapefruits, just big ones like this.
Yeah, so after you've had a little practice, you move up, I guess.
Right.
When your confidence is high.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right.
But how did you get this red here?
I painted it with a felt tip pen, something like...
That's all right. Yeah. All right. Now, Harold, they tell me you have a little song you can share with us. Can we do the song now?
Yes.
Okay. Paul, do you need some? Can you help Harold here?
Try.
All right. I'll try. Harold Goebel, the the orange
peeler. Sailor Man.
Can
you handle that? I'm the orange peeler man, I am. I make art with the peeling, feel free to damn. I have fun with the peel, and the craft looks so real. And the peeling peels like an orange peeler man. That's what I am.
Yeah. Nice going, Harold. Pleasure to meet you. Thank you very much for coming tonight. We'll be right back. Paul, would you like an Advil?
I'm all right. I'm feeling better now.
Hey, I have a question. During the big Psychedelic Furs song, was Sid actually singing or just moving his mouth? Because, Sid, I saw you moving your mouth. Were you singing? Were you singing or not? Yeah, that's what he was doing.
Sometimes you do that.
For the last 21 years, our next guest has been working for the Seifert potato chip plant in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back to this program a wonderful woman, the potato chip lady, Myrtle Young. Myrtle, come on out here. Hi, Myrtle, how are you? Good to have you with us again. Watch your step here. Myrtle, are you originally from Indiana? Yeah, you know, I'm from Indiana, Fort Wayne. I'm from Indianapolis. I went to college there in Muncie at Ball State. Yeah, I know all about Fort Wayne. It's the Summit City.
Yes.
Yeah, Mad Anthony Wayne.
Yes.
The town is named for him, isn't it?
Well, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
You know your history.
Yeah, well, you have to for a job like this, you know. Not exactly dealing with a chimp. Now, Myrtle, let's go back a little bit. How long have you worked for the potato chip company, and what did you do there in the beginning? I know you kind of changed jobs with them since, haven't you? Yeah.
Yes. I've been with Seifert's for 21 years now.
Right.
And I used to be a potato chip inspector.
Right.
And we would have to inspect the chips after they were fried and discard all the bad ones.
All right. Now, what is an inspector looking for? Now, by the way, I said Seifert, but it's pronounced Seifert.
Seifert's.
My apologies. Seifert's. Okay. As an inspector, what are you looking for?
We have to throw away any chip that has a dark spot on it, that is discolored, or too brown, maybe has a green edge, anything that doesn't look appetizing.
Right. Now, the dark spot would signify what is wrong with the chip. What does that mean, the dark spot?
If we have too much sugar or starch is left in that little potato slice, when that goes through the fryer, that will burn.
It'll burn. I don't know. Believe me, I don't know. But it would still taste all right. It's just that some people might not like how it looks.
If they're burned, they will taste different.
Yeah, all right.
They won't taste very good.
That's what I said.
And we throw those away.
And the green edge, again, is what? What does that mean?
If the sun shines on potatoes too long, the sun will turn a potato green.
Mm-hmm.
And when we slice them, then we get a chip with a green edge.
Yeah.
But they don't...
that was the name of your first big hit, wasn't it? Sunshine on the Potatoes? Great. Now, Myrtle, let me guess, in the course of looking at thousands and thousands and thousands of potato chips, you started to notice ones that were of some interest, eh?
Yes,
Yeah.
I was on the job about 2 or 3 weeks. And some of the chips that I was throwing away had little faces on them.
Did you think about taking a leave of absence? Faces on the chips, that's a good sign. Maybe you need a vacation. All right, but it's a little like looking at clouds on a summer day. You begin to see familiar shapes.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
all right. So shall we start looking at some of these, your favorites? I guess I'll hold them up, okay? And you tell us what is special. Are these part of the permanent collection?
Oh, yes, yes.
Okay.
This is Rodney Dangerfield.
Yeah, all right. Okay, and this is...
One of the first little faces I started to see, little happy faces or sad faces. Sometimes I saw ugly faces.
Right. Okay. Bring me some onion dip, will you? All right, Myrtle, this is...
This is a little sleeping bird. Looks just like a little bird.
You're right. It's like a little dove or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You think I should get a manicure, Myrtle? Now, you got in some trouble the last time you were here because we were talking about what happened.
I had a mouse on one of my trays.
Right. not a real
potato chip. No, a potato chip that looked just like a real mouse.
That's
had
right.
a curly tail on it, and so they don't like for me to show little bugs or little mice or anything anymore.
Yeah. Okay. I know what this is.
Angry dog.
This is... It is. It's Angry Dog. Keep Angry Dog away from the sleeping bird.
These are insured for $1 million.
Ooh. Now wait a minute. These are actually, they're insured, aren't you? Is what you're saying?
Yes, when we're doing some shows.
Yeah, for $1 million.
Yes.
And you take them around. Where do you?
So we don't.
You don't play
treat
around.
them
No,
like
I'm sorry.
This is Bob Hope. I didn't.
Okay. Oh, now this was pretty good.
This is Bob Hope.
Yeah. You know, it would take a sharp eye, though, to pick this thing out of a conveyor belt full of potato chips. Yeah.
250,000 pounds in 8 hours. That's how many we have to inspect.
Wow. And are you still looking for new additions to the collection?
No. A couple years ago, I retired from the inspection line. Now I give tours at Cyphers.
Yeah. And
3 days a week.
Is somebody now, though, on the lookout for new additions?
Well, they try.
Yeah. They don't
try.
really have the eye that you do, though. Huh?
Well, you have to be real fast.
Yeah.
They still look. They're trying to find something.
All right, can we look at a few more here?
Now, this is sugar and starch that burned in these slices. Now, this looks like a clock.
Mm-hmm.
I have...
They're a little disappointed in the clock.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Show
I'll
them
take
the
care of
ghost.
that. Don't come near me.
You like to live dangerously.
I gave you quite a start, didn't I?
You know, some man did that.
All right. Okay, what's this one?
That's the ghost.
Mm-hmm.
That looks just like a
ghost music, Paul. A little ghost music here. And this one looks like a little comb. Did that actually come out like that?
Yes.
Now that's
yes.
just from the slicer, right? That's a
Yes, it was sliced too thinly,
Okay.
and the teeth end showed.
All right.
Now I have quite a few cartoon characters. This is Spider-Man.
Am I holding that right?
Oh, you had him upside down.
I had him upside down. Okay. All right. That's Spider-Man. Or maybe Phantom of the Opera. Do you think you could, update that? Add some Broadway themes to your. All right, we'll do a commercial, and then we'll come back here with Myrtle. Thank you. Myrtle, we have time for just a couple more. But do you know of any other potato chip collections? I think this is really good for the company, isn't it?
This is the only potato chip collection in the world.
Okay,
now,
what's
I
the
was
deal on this
doing
one?
another show, and some man ran up out of the audience, and he grabbed one of my chips on display, and he ate it.
Right.
But we wouldn't let him swallow it. We made him spit it out, and it was my sand dollar, and it was the only sand dollar I had.
Myrtle, what did you knock him down and put your knee in his throat? Is that
No, we just wouldn't let him swallow it.
And then there's one other here. Let's just take a look at this one.
This is a little embryo. When I was in London, they wouldn't let me show this in England.
Too controversial?
Well, Princess Di and her boys and the Queen were watching my show,
Oh,
and
yeah,
they
well.
said this might be too offensive for them. So they didn't let me, they wouldn't let me
Well, we'll
show
make sure
this.
they get a tape of tonight's show.
Oh, no.
Well, Myrtle, as always, it's a pleasure to have you with us. Say hello to our friends back in Indiana, and thank you very much.
sure
Nice to
will.
see you. Myrtle Young, ladies and gentlemen. We have to go, folks. Have a nice weekend. Good night, everybody.